The BBC, business news, fall in Eurozone inflation rate fuels deflation concerns. The BBC pointing out that the Eurozone inflation fell 0.7% in January, and it was at 0.8% in December. So inflation is only 0.1% for January. And the EU is trying to keep inflation at 2%. When inflation goes negative, that's called deflation. We have another word for deflation, at least when it's protracted, when it extends over a period of time. That word is depression. BBC does not use that word, but what they do say is concerns about possible deflation, where the price of goods and assets are locked in long-term decline, hitting corporate profits, wage growth, and tempting consumers to delay purchases in the hope of further price falls have grown in recent months. See, deflation is this devolutionary rather than evolutionary spiral. It's where the economy just spins down out of control. It's what happened in 1929, 1930, 1931, 1932. And it's what happened for a brief period of time in 2008. And Europe is very concerned that it might be about to happen there. I thought that there was an absolutely brilliant column that you really should read today by Paul Krugman in the New York Times. And what he is pointing out, the market has been down the last few days. And most of this week. In fact, maybe I think all of this week. Last couple of weeks, the market's been down quite a bit. And so the counter market, things, FXX, I think, is one of them. Whatever they are. The bet against the market funds are up, the hedge funds. But they're hemorrhaging right now in Argentina. The Argentinian peso is like under assault. And Paul Krugman does not actually point out that Paul Singer's hedge fund, one of these big hedge funds in New York, won a judgment. They bought up a bunch of when Argentina defaulted on their bond obligations in 2000 or 2001. Those bonds were still out there. Argentina just said, we're not going to pay anymore. So the value of the bonds became like a penny on the dollar. And so Singer's hedge fund and a bunch of others bought up these bonds for a penny on the dollar, and then he took it all the way to the courts and actually got a judgment that Argentina had to pay him a whole bunch of money. Now, I don't know if that's what's driving this or not, but that's certainly not helping Argentina. But the point that Paul Krugman makes is that we had this period of stability from the end of World War II until basically the late 70s, early 80s, the last couple of years of the Carter administration, the beginning of the Reagan administration, where one country's problems didn't infect other countries. And there was a reason for that. You know how with regard to trade, we used to have tariffs? We used to have basically a semi-permeable membrane around the United States, tariffs and trade policies, and we did away with that in the 90s, and that was not good. We also used to have something like that for finance, and we started doing away with that in the late 70s and the early 80s, and that's the problem.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And so basically he's saying that ever since 1980, more or less, we've been at risk worldwide of these boom and bust cycles. We've been having them, not just at risk.